Norman Thomas, 6 times candidate for president on the Socialist Party ticket, said the American people would never vote for socialism. But he said under the name of liberalism, the American people will adopt every fragment of the socialist program.
When this bill is law, 3 strikes and you're out will be the law of the land.
They are absolutely destroying the traditional Western civilization right before our eyes.
And I consider it part of my responsibility as President of the United States to fight against negative stereotypes of Islam wherever they appear.
The intent of the founders, that's what the Supreme Court is supposed to do.
I declare, I'm not going to pay for that wall.
Donald Trump want to protect our nation because he said that if he's in office, he will find the enemy and destroy the enemy.
Welcome to the Abolitionists Roundtable, your all-access pass to the 2016 Red, White, and Blue Conservative Revolution. Join the conversation at 734-822-1600. Now here are your hosts, Del Marsh, Phil Stargell, and Janice Daniels.
Well, good morning, America. Thank you for joining the Abolitionist Roundtable, one of the fastest hours on radio. We got so much on our agenda. Yeah, that's me. I got to squeeze it all in. There's so much that happened this week, and so we want to talk about it this morning. Thank you again for joining the Abolitionist Roundtable. We got a lot of good stuff to get to. Last week we did something called America, What Do You Have to Lose? It was a question that Mr. Trump asked. He asked the so-called African-American community. Well, today I want to ask all Americans, all America, what do you have to lose? But before we get to our agenda this morning, what I want to do is we're going to play the national anthem. And if you don't mind, Derek, we're going to play the national anthem. And if you don't mind standing for the national anthem, folks, I know it's early in the morning, or if you want to bend on your knee, you can do the Colin Kaepernick, or you can honor the American tradition, our American heritage. Folks, you can look around the world, and I know you think that America, some people believe that America is all these different things. It's an oppressive country, it's a this country, it's a that country. Folks, if something happened today and somebody need to be rescued, America will be there. If there's a national disaster around the world and people, and they need to get funds right away to help people all around the world that might not like us, guess who will be the first one to contribute to that fund? America. Not Russia, not Chinese, not Korea, not South Korea, not Cuba, none of these countries, absolutely none of them. America is always the first ones there. Now, let me just say this right here. Absolutely, we have problems, and the problems are not because we created these problems. The problems are because if we didn't have people, there's the problem right there. As long as there's people, there's going to be differences. But and again, this is a time where right now the Abolitionist Roundtable is going to come behind one thing. We all are Americans. There's no, Phil, there's no Dale, there's no Janice, there's no whatever ethnicity is. We don't know. I walk colorblind myself. I walk by, I identify people by whatever their ideas are. And that's it. It don't even matter about the ethnicity or I don't call it race anyway, because it's only one race. It's the human race. So let's do this right here, Derek. And we want you to join the conversation right after we finish, 734-822-1600. And Derek, if you don't mind, you can go ahead and start the national anthem, please.
What's so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight for the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket right glare of the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. So save that star-spangled banner wave over the land free.
Enjoy that right there? Did you enjoy that right there? Did you enjoy? You know, one of the things that this young man, Colin Kaepernick, he's only for like 27, 28 years old. He's what? 38. He's 38?
38.
Oh, is he really?
Yes.
What year was he born? Because I think he was, here, if you don't mind, double check that for me, Mayor. Put in that Colin Kaepernick. Let's just make sure real quick, Phil. But anyway, he's saying we want to have until, I'm going to stand until we have a discussion about the treatment of the so-called African-American community. And I think that Phil can point out some statistics for you, Mr. Kaepernick, that these are real statistics that you need to look at. You know, we've seen, I think a few months ago, we did a show and I broke down the numbers, in 2015. There were double the amount of whites killed by police than it were blacks.
Del,
yes.
he was born on November 3rd, 1987, making him 28 years old.
28.
Yeah.
So he's a young man. Yep. So he's 1988. Well, he's the same age as mine.
87.
1987. Okay.
Yeah.
So he's
a
year
baby.
older. He is a baby. He's a year older than my son, my oldest son. So my oldest son was born in 1988.
Man, that guy played in the Super Bowl 10 years ago.
He was 18 years old. Imagine that.
Young man.
So
absolutely
God gifted him with great talent.
Absolutely.
But no mind.
Yes. And you know what? And this, go ahead.
Brother.
What's that? Go ahead.
He played against Jim Harbaugh's brother in the Super Bowl. That's been, good Lord, that's got to be.
Maybe it wasn't 10 years ago. We could probably ask Derek. Derek can probably look that up, because he run the
Stone Cold Sports.
Stone Cold Sports. So Derek, you can probably give us a little information on that. When was it that he played in that Super Bowl? What year was that?
He played in 2013. That would be Super Bowl 47.
Okay, so that was in 2013 then. So it was just a few.
Okay.
Oh, that was just a few. Wow,
Yeah.
Phil, you would have went back 10 years.
Yeah,
It seemed like it was 10 years ago, huh? It was just a few years ago.
So what, 3 years ago?
Yeah, it was just 3 years ago that they played. So, and it seemed like it was a lot longer. But here, let me just say this, Mr. Kaepernick, here the so-called, they call themselves, but not all of them, and somebody else come up with this name. They didn't, I remember reading a survey years ago, they didn't want to be called no African-American. They wanted to be called just black. That's it, and I'm American. They want to be Americans. They want to be Americans, but, the Black Congressional Caucus, the NAACP, all these organizations that are dead. They dead and buried. They have no legitimacy. What happened is Mr. Kaepernick, he gave them some. He gave them a pulse again.
Yeah.
And so now they become a relevant voice again. They had no relevancy at all.
Well, they controlled the news cycle almost all year between Black Lives Matter, Wall Street, Occupy Wall Street, all of these groups.
Yes.
They just controlled the news cycle. Every week they were on the headlines. And the Democrat Party and Hillary Clinton have accepted all of this nonsense. These people are socialists and communists, and
it's listed. You read this a few weeks ago that it was listed. You went to the website and read all this information from their website, their founding documents.
That's exactly right. And yet and still, we have people such as Colin Kaepernick, who is a role model to some of the younger people.
Yes.
I thought he was a little older. But obviously I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But it's probably due to the fact that I don't watch football like I used to, because of the fact that they've been taken over by
the feminists that started off, you know, when they have this October Pink Month, celebrating one thing, but not really getting information to people, let them know the reason why.
But more importantly, they don't seek the truth.
Yeah.
They make it with this political correctness.
Yeah.
And this is where we have gone wrong in this country. We got documents that say that we have the freedom of speech, not just speech that you like, but speech that you may not like. So they've taken advantage of that. They've taken advantage of our documents. And all over the government, we see people that are actively figuring out ways to get around the law and use our documents to take away freedoms from American citizens and give them to every conceivable idea of what somebody wants to do to change this country to what it's not, which is a country that is dominated by the government.
Wait
this
a
country
minute.
has always been about liberty.
Okay, so Derek, play number 707 for me for a minute. You said somebody want to fundamentally change the country. Play 707 for me, Derek.
We are 5 days away from fundamentally transforming the United States of America.
Right. Yes, exactly
We're
right.
in the middle of it.
And exactly
that transformation.
Right. Yeah, and anything that you say in opposition to that thought makes you a racist. And this.
Wait a minute. So when Donald Trump went to this church in Flint, and the pastor stood up and said, whispered to him, you can't be political, but Hillary Clinton can go to a black church. And 706, please, dear, and she can say this right here.
I don't feel no ways tired. I come too far from where I started from. Nobody told me that the road would be easy.
Wait a minute. Okay, thanks, dear. What you laughing at? You got a problem with that right there?
No,
you have a problem with the Clinton crime family talking like that right there?
Nobody told her it was going to be easy, right? But nobody told her to stop either.
Now, she can say whatever she want to say, Mayor. She can say whatever she want to say.
Yeah, and her husband, Billy Boy, he gave us an indication of what a $500,000 speech sounds like when he got up and said, well, Hillary Clinton just had a little bout with the flu. He sounded like a drunken political hack has-been, and this is the guy who Wall Street and foreign countries are paying $500,000 a speech for?
Amount of money.
Can you
I want to see some of those speeches because I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna call some of the people. I would love to read some of those same speeches and get that amount of money.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I have to go back and say,
go ahead.
we have to remember that this Colin
Kaepernick, yes.
whoever the heck he is. He also is a mulatto. Whatever happened to that word mulatto? Because he was born of a 19-year-old single white destitute woman, and who
was adopted by a beautiful family.
Yeah,
that brought him up in the same values that I was brought up in Christian, traditional Christian values. And then he met this young lady a few years ago. He met a lady who father traveled. I have no idea her background, because it's kind of, they keep that sealed. But he's going to have a traditional Muslim wedding coming up. Now, from what I read a few months ago, he converted from Christianity to Islam.
I'm not surprised by that. I'm not surprised by that at all. You know, do we now have to say mulatto lives matter, being as our president is a mulatto,
That's good.
And this guy who won't stand for the national anthem is a mulatto. And now he's converting to Muslim lives matter too. You know, we've got to keep that in the mix too.
If you go to his Instagram, you'll see a consistent pattern. You know, you'll see on there Malcolm X. You'll see on there. You'll see a number of different quotes from Black Muslims. You'll see a number of different quotes. Now he has Martin Luther King on there for good measures, but everything on his Instagram was all everything. And he even had something. They had. What was it? Ramadan. He had the Ramadan moon on his Instagram too, and wanted to give shouts out to all his friends that were celebrating Ramadan.
Well, you know, Colin Powell famously said that, you know, that the birther movement is a racist movement, you know, and even
but Black Lives Matter isn't a racist movement.
Yes, exactly.
But the birther movement is. Yeah,
and
makes sense.
We have allowed this nonsense about calling people racist with absolutely no evidence to prove, because for one thing, what they call racism is not racism. It is somebody identifying something that is possibly against the law, or maybe totally against the law. But because you identify that, they want to say that the law wasn't valid anyway because it's a racist law.
Right.
And so how can you, when the term is being moved, the goalposts are being moved every time they use it.
That's right.
You know, so
redefining the rules all the time.
All the time.
Yeah, and redefining words themselves.
Redefining words, absolutely, they are. And
masters, they're masters of it.
They are, absolutely. And again, this is we had an awesome time right now where Mr. Trump has throughout all the PC, and he's playing by the same philosophy that they play by.
Yes.
You know, and so this is where they can't get their hands around him at all, because no matter what they say about him, he let it roll. He let it hit his shoulder, roll off his back, and keep it moving. If you watch some of his, matter of fact, last night he had a rally. It was listed deplorables.
Yeah.
And he took that and that movement, that what Hillary Clinton said. He took what Hillary Clinton said, and he made a campaign slogan out of it. That we are the deplorables. Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. Deplorable mean that we stand for life. Yeah. That's deplorables. That we stand for traditional marriage. That's deplorable. Absolutely. That we believe in protecting our that we believe in protecting those people in those vulnerable neighborhoods that the Democrats created that still look like plantations today.
Yes, that's what they are.
They still look like them today. And you know, and so some of the things that they called, you know, here it was Hillary Clinton that, today she's saying that she called somebody homophobic, Mayor, but it was her not just a few years ago that said she was for traditional marriage.
Yeah, right. Remember that old saying we used to say when we were kids? I'm rubber and you're glue. Everything you say bounces off of me and sticks on you. Donald Trump has taken that to an art form. I mean, truly, because that's what he's doing.
Yeah.
He's a master at
is.
taking these people and using their words and pushing them right back where
Yes.
they belong in their basket.
Yeah, so we have 51 days until November the 8th. 51 days, and it's a lot of work to do. And then we have 124 days until January the 20th. Remember one thing, folks, that even if our guy is elected president, remember, now let me just say this right. Donald Trump is not a Republican. He's a nationalist. It's far beyond being just a Republican or a Democrat.
Well,
This
what
is
have
way
Republicans
bigger.
done for you lately, Del?
Absolutely.
Exactly right.
All they have
They
done
have
is
sold us out.
Yep.
stood on their principles, and standing on their principles they've always given up something. And that's all they did. And Milt said something. He said, Dale, liberals, progressive, they're 100s. So what do you mean by 100s? He said they believe in 100%. 100. They're going to get 100% of what they want. So they might sacrifice 20% right now, but over time they got marriage. That's 100.
Yeah.
That's one. He said, that the Republicans always, they want to compromise.
Yep.
They give up a little here, get a little there, a little bit. That little bit that they give, the Democrats usually take it over.
Exactly right.
Take it over 100%.
Look at healthcare.
Yes.
Look at healthcare. They compromised on that. Well, again, the Supreme Court sold us out.
Yes.
And that was a Republican.
That was Judge Roberts. That was very disappointing.
But the thing is that you see what's going on. The Obamacare has absolutely failed. It's 100% failure. But guess what? Their fallback plan was always a single-payer health care.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what they want to go to.
Right.
And if Hillary Clinton comes in, we will get Hillary care, the thing that we rejected 20 years ago.
You know, our conversation reminds me of a book that's right now on the Amazon list of books to read, and that's Liberalism, or How to Turn Good Men into Whiners, Weenies, and Wimps. It's written by a black man named Burgess Owens, and it documents the role of the 21 white, self-avowed socialist, atheist, Marxist founders of the NAACP.
Yeah.
And their impact on the black community.
Yes.
It is time.
Well, let's look at where we are here. Hillary Clinton says, I am proud to stand with Planned Parenthood.
There you go.
And so one of the founders of NAACP, Du Bois.
Okay, I don't know.
W-E-B Du Bois. Du Bois, yeah. Okay.
Hey, la vie.
In the ghetto, we say Du Bois. But he was very much for abortion. And what did Hillary say? What did Margaret Sanger say? We'll get some preachers and we'll get them to straighten out those unruly ones, you know. And Du Bois was an atheist, but he had a lot of sway in the black community. So what did they get for the preacher? Adam Clayton Powell's dad. So there you got your preacher. And I got a few quotes here, and we'll get to them as we go along.
Well, give me one right now. What you got, Phil?
Okay.
I like quotes. You know, I like quotes.
Let me see.
Which, by the way, speaking of quotes.
Go ahead. Why he's working on that?
I was going to say, you know, the national anthem has more paragraphs than just the one that we're all familiar with. In fact, what have we got? It's halftime.
All right, it is
Here we
halftime.
go.
All right, you can join us on the other side of the break, and the number is 734-822-1600. We'll see you then.
The boys are back in town. The boys are back in town. The boys are back.
to the Abolitionists Roundtable, patriotic, red, white, and blue, conservative all-access radio, with your hosts, Del, Phil, and Janice. They're leading the charge and advancing the conservative revolution. Join the conversation at 734-822-1600.
All right, did you enjoy that? Was that an awesome commentary by Derek from Stone Cold Sports?
Yes, great.
Absolutely. Here, I'm just going to run through some of the headlines, and then we're going to get to some of the calls. Colin Powell was hacked. I had a hack email. It says that he scorned Trump. Top insults from Colin Powell hacked emails. That's from the USA Today. Concerns over Colin Powell hacked emails becomes a fear of being next. That's from New York Times. This right here, when Mr. Trump was here in Flint, he pointed out something, and it broke in the news the very next day. Ford is shifting all the small car production to Mexico, all of it. They sending everything to Mexico. Ford Motor Company. Now, again, let's point out that Ford Motor Company is one of those, one of the companies that was not, that did not participate in the buyout at all. But they shipping all the small car production to Mexico. One of the reasons they said, and I'm gonna let you talk in just a minute, Phil, they said because of cost. So to keep the price down on those small cars, they have to shift it all. All right, go ahead, Phil. I'm sorry.
Just are there any large cars? I mean, all
moving all the cars small, making all the cars small.
So that means Ford's going to ship all of their car making because the only thing that will be made here is trucks.
Is the F-150, some of your
and
they call
SUVs.
crossovers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking they're talking about they have the smaller cars, like the mayor drive a what they consider a full size.
But they
vehicle.
don't make them anymore, do they?
Well, they still make some of the full size. They still,
it's not a full size. It's a Taurus. I think what is that called, a coupe or something?
Well, a coupe is a two-door.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, they consider
what do
that
I know about cars?
That's okay. Here, and again, I mentioned last week. Well, here, let me just go through a couple more, and then we're going to get to our calls. Trump was in Flint, to tour the water the facility in crisis. One of the things you heard now and then is reflects something different in the Free Press. Free Press says that Mayor Weaver is cool with Trump touring the water plant, but then also she said that I heard her say this, that Trump was not welcome in Flint. And so on one hand, the news media, the newspaper want to say that she said he's welcome, but then she said that he wasn't welcome there in Flint at all. He still went to Flint, and then, of course, we've seen the video where the pastor got up and said, we're not going to you can't use politics, but we heard that Miss from the crime family, the Clinton Sanger crime family, Hillary Clinton, she can say whatever she wants. She can use her dialect. Now, another thing, this right here, I don't know if you caught this right here. I talked about how last week, and the mayor wasn't here, so it bears repeating, how the president, he nominated the first Muslim judge to the federal bench. Now we still have to go through this confirmation hearing, but this is something else that happened. Last December, New York has swore in this black Muslim judge. She had the burqa and everything, and it was something that happened there that was different than has normally happened around the country. She swore on the Quran. Wait a minute. How did you know that? She swore on the Quran. She swore on the Quran. So when she took her oath on the Quran, and it was something that the mayor brought up a number of months ago. When you take the oath, see, it's something in the Quran said that you can do
Takia. Yeah.
So we know that, okay, so she took an oath today on the Quran, but eventually in time. Now, what happened in the article, they said that what set that precedent was a guy that was sworn in Congress.
Yeah. Keith Ellison, right?
Keith Ellison, that's
Keith
right. Well, you know,
Ellison.
this is all part of the civilization jihad
Yeah.
that is infiltrating into our country. It's not the violent radical Islam that is
It's
making the
not in
news.
here.
This is this insidious infiltration into
Yes.
high places of people who are enemies of the United States of America. When is this going to stop? You know,
it's not.
there's a website called securemichigan.org.
Yes.
That's securemichigan.org. That's Dick Manasari and Gary Kubiak and their people over there. They are doing great work exposing the refugee resettlement crisis that is literally allowing military-age men, enemies of the United States of America in some cases, to be living in this country. What are we preparing for? What's going to happen, guys?
Yeah.
What's going to happen?
And this is a part of his agenda.
That's
Now,
right.
One thing, I'm sorry, Phil, I'm just going to mention this in passing, I'm going to let you talk. Now, he already agreed to 10,000 Syrians. Now, also made a commitment for another 100,000.
Yeah.
It's
So that's
shocking.
110,000.
Where is our Congress to stop this man? Where is our Congress? I mean, not only are these military-age men that potentially hate America, they are crippling our economy. They are destroying our healthcare system. How many of them have been identified in Michigan as having active TB viruses?
Well,
I mean,
what
this
about
this is serious stuff.
what about the fact that there are no Christians from Syria in this? You know, they say, oh, there's 10,000 Syrians coming. Well, they don't say anything about how many are men or women, but they definitely say absolutely nothing about the fact that the Christians are the ones in Syria that are
being persecuted. Absolutely. Yeah.
Persecuted and
killed.
disenfranchised. Yes, absolutely. And I've read a number of articles. This from Christian News Today. They said that in some of those camps, Christians are being forced to pray to the moon god with them. So here, let me get to some of the calls, and then because I still have a lot that I still want to get to, and we're going to go to Mr. Gary in Roseville. Good morning, Gary.
Good morning, Del, Phil, and Janice.
Morning.
I don't know if you've heard the latest. I'm sure you have, but about the comments he made about Hillary's security staff.
Yeah.
Telling them to, they should get rid of their guns because, Democrats, they think guns are a problem in this country. And he said, well, if guns are such a problem, why doesn't Hillary's security get rid of their guns?
I agree.
Now, they're trying to, of course, spin it like, he's trying to have her killed.
Yeah, of course.
Hold on. That's what liberals try to, they tried to
Yeah.
spin it to say that he's trying to have her. No, he's not trying to spin it to say that she can be killed. But the people in those very vulnerable neighborhoods that again that's having pushbacks from the police, they need to have something where they can defend themselves, just like the president and just like the Kran family have something to defend themselves.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, so go ahead and finish up.
Well, and write this down. On September 29th, there's a movie coming out, just that one night. It's called Targeted.
What is it called
it's
again?
About Targeted.
Okay.
And it's about gun control.
Okay.
And it's that one night, September 29th, and I think everybody should go see this movie if they could, make it that one night. The September 29th, called Targeted, all this gun control bull that's going on.
All right, great. Thank you very much, Gary, for getting up with us this morning, and thank you for giving us that information, too.
Okay, Mr. Dell, okay.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, another thing I want to mention, this is from lawnews.com. It says, brace yourself for New York's despicable decision to close all schools tomorrow. Now, that was on 9/11. The day after 9/11, did you know New York City closed their schools for a Muslim holiday?
Yes.
Right.
Yes. So, they take one city, and then before you know it, California have a city. Before you know it,
Well, they've got their Sharia court.
Movement. Yes.
They got their Sharia court.
And so while this guy is in here, just slowly, he's moving the ball for Islam.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, he said something. I remember, and we're going to get to our close. I remember him saying something years ago. I remember you reminding us, Phil. He said something about this is one of the largest Muslim countries.
Yeah, yeah.
And we all didn't understand what he was saying by that right there. That was liberals always talk about dog whistles when they were the ones that was whistling using the dog whistle, but they always talk about dog whistle. That was a dog whistle to the Muslim world.
Yeah. Yes, but the Democrats turn that around. They use the word, and then they turn around and call you a racist for using that same dog whistle thing.
Masterful.
I heard a guy the other day.
Oh, Lord have mercy. And so, can you, and this is why it's important that somebody, again, don't worry about whether Mr. Trump is a conservative. Anyway, what the heck's conservative? What the mayor said, what conservatives, what have they done really for America anyway?
Conservatives.
I wouldn't call them conservatives.
No, they're not conservatives. The conservatives have moved the ball really good, as in under Reagan. I mean, and as
we're talking about the last 8 years.
Well, there haven't been any conservatives in the last in the last. So
what's that called?
A lot of them that call themselves
neutered and spayed. They've been neutered. The Republican Party has been neutered. It seems at the top, and I think it's self-imposed neutering because I think they like their power more than they like our liberty, and that's a fact. I wanted to mention this movie that Gary talked about, Targeted. Exposing the gun control agenda is what it's billed as being. So it might be an interesting movie for us to take a look at. You can go to targetthemovie.com and get a little bit of information and find the theaters that movie is being shown in on that day.
Great. All right, SF school bans head call for let's see. I don't know what that is. Okay, here, let me just go to this one right here. This is Washington banned by PC police. This is from World News Daily, and there's a school that said that they want to change the name of the name of the school is George Washington High School. Yeah. And because George Washington owned slaves, this is what they say. They want to name the school after a prominent so-called African American, or somebody prominent in the LGBTQLMOPQ movement. And so, and then this right here, this is where a lot of this stuff come from. This right here, a pastor at Muhammad Ali's funeral. We know we buried Cassius Clay a few months ago. And this guy right here said this at his funeral. A pastor said this at his funeral. This is according to the Washington Examiner. He said this right here. He said the Star-Spangled Banner celebrates slavery. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So this is where a lot of these kids like Kopanek and all these the black movement, they're getting their information from people that's influencing them with this kind of stuff right here, this kind of nonsense.
Well, they start by saying if you are an advocate, a conservative advocate for getting the government out of the way, the Democrats turn around and spin it as saying that the government abandoned, and especially black Americans. They say the government abandoned them. How could it possibly be abandoning a group of people when they have been, as a group, subservient to the Democrat Party? What do you call it? I mean, just on the dole from the time that they began to vote Democrat.
That's almost illogical.
They found the more that they gave them off the dole, the more they would vote for Democrats. So they have been wards of the state Democrat Party.
Which is so interesting that there's such a juxtaposition of those two concepts. The government is abandoning them, but the government is enslaving them. And not only black people, but the government is abandoning American citizens, and they are enslaving American citizens.
Matter of fact, if I could, let me see if I can find it. One of the things that Colin Powell, that was found in one of Colin Powell's emails, is he said that Donald Trump, his supporters are all lower class whites. And
how dare him.
basically what he was saying is, this is not me, I'm just translating. He really was saying that his supporters are white trash. This is what Colin Powell. See, Colin Powell is somebody. He's one of those elites. And Phil and I talked about this. I knew. Well, I didn't know, but Colin Powell took advantage of a career of opportunity to advance his career.
Skipped ahead in the line.
Because if he went on the Democratic side, it would have been a long time before he got to his prominence. But by coming on the Republican side, he was never a Republican in the first place. He was never a conservative. He took advantage of that side and got to the head of the line. And got to prominence and sold a lot of books. You know, Colin Powell is worth more than $45 million.
It's amazing.
$45 million.
You know, the hacking of his emails and the exposing of the fact that he made some critically stupid comments just kind of really gives the whole picture of the Democrat Party, the liberals, the progressives, whoever you want to call them, the elitists, the establishment. They deny natural humanity in that all of us have a Howard Stern moment. All of us drive down the street and once in a while say, "What's that clown next to us doing? Beep, 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 that idiot." You know, we are naturally like that, to say things like that. But then the Democrats, the progressives, the elitists, whoever, they want to promote unnatural humanity, abortion, homosexuality. So they deny natural humanity and support, promote unnatural humanity. It's unbelievable the way these people operate. They have mastered the art of deception.
That's right.
But then again,
who's the master of deception?
That's right. Their master, Satan. That's exactly right. And you know, this email hacking kind of puts a new twist on the shirt that I'm wearing today. My shirt says NSA, the only part of the government that's actually listening. Now it seems like every nefarious person on the face of the planet is listening.
Well, if you'd like to, hold on, if you'd like to join the conversation, I'm sorry, some of our callers said, but if you'd like to get in the last few minutes, we'll be glad to answer any questions or let you make a comment. Give us a call at 734-822-1600. Now, another thing, I put on my agenda, this is under now some of the things that was heritage, culture, we're talking about our country. Now, this is our posterity. Now, this Colin Kaepernick movement, and it has a lot of influence on a lot of people. And we got to watch this right here because we need to take advantage of stuff like this right here. What Satan meant for good, for bad, we can turn around for good. It says high school athletes join Colin Kaepernick in anthem protests. Now, what happened is I watched this is from Fort Magazine. Again, if you anything that we say today, you can go to our website, artofmichigan.com. You can click on our YouTube, go to our YouTube, and the name of today's show is America, What Do You Have to Lose, Part 2. And so we're going to have, and you can click on it and you'll get all the notes, all our notes, everything that we say, everything that I reference, I list on there. So you won't say we just made something up. Okay. And so one of the things that's happening, this happened in a school in Florida, a high school, they had the national anthem. All these kids, guess what they did?
They took a knee.
They took a knee.
I can believe it.
Unbelievable.
Well, you know, he is leaning toward the Muslim. We don't know for sure if he is Islamist or whatever. But in the Olympics, there was a soccer player just recently that took a knee on a couple of times. They told her, you know, they weren't going to stand for that representing the United States. But do you know that Islamic countries like Iran, Iraq, all of them, they will not compete against Israelis.
Okay.
They will forfeit the match. They will not shake the hand of the competitor.
Oh, I seen that right there, the wrestling match.
Yeah.
The
So,
Olympics.
so
He did not shake
where's
his
the
hand.
protest from these idiots taking a knee at the obvious hatred of Israelis on the behalf of these Muslims and Islamist competitors in the Olympics, and no less.
When are we going to start standing up for our culture?
Exactly.
Well,
right.
I think that there's going to be a blowback from this right here because Colin Kaepernick, the NFL, the
NFL need to get off of the pot and do something about this nonsense.
That this is, it's this trend. They can sustain this. People can also show them something. All they have to do is not buy their tickets.
Exactly right.
So if those stadiums are not filled, it's going to have an effect on
and not watch on television.
Yeah,
that's the money market, the
that
television.
is, absolutely.
And anytime a football fan like myself is not sure how long a competitor like Kaepernick, who I really like watching when he was in the Super Bowl and before, and I don't know how long he's been in the league. That tells you my interest is not very strong.
You know what we have to do, too, is we have to start placing calls to these advertisers on these various programs and say, you know what, I'm not going to shop at your store.
That's right.
I'm not going to buy your product as long as you
That's exactly right.
allow that kind of activity to go on the program that you're promoting.
Now,
that
you
you're
see what
advertising
happens
on.
anytime anybody says anything about the homosexual agenda. They are fired.
Yep.
They are cut off of teams and everything else.
Yep.
So they know they better not say anything.
They're
about
recalled.
that.
All kinds of things happen to people who say
all right,
things.
let's go to. We're going to go to Gerald from Belleville. Good morning, Gerald. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How's everyone doing this morning?
We're doing great. Thank you.
for calling.
Good. Yeah. Thank you. You're welcome. I want to make a couple comments. One, in reference to the Star Spangled Banner, I would encourage you to just to read the second verse of the Star Spangled Banner, where it talks about the killing of slaves. And then I want to make the comment: there's so much wrong with the Democratic Party when you're talking about the LGBT community and the embracing of that, the convoluted embracing of Muslims in the kind of the wrong context. But nevertheless, on the other side, I cannot understand how any educated African American could be in support of Donald Trump.
Okay, well,
you know what?
To be a Republican and an African American, okay, that's fine. I can understand that.
You know what?
But
I want to
when
take the
that
time. We've only got a few
individual
minutes left. I want to read the second paragraph of the Star Spangled Banner because it is not racist in any way. On the shore dimly seen through the mists of the deep, where the foe's haughty host in dread silence reposes, what is that which the breeze o'er the towering steep, as it fitfully blows, half conceals, half discloses? Now it catches the gleam of the morning's first beam, in full glory reflected, now shines in the stream. 'Tis the Star-Spangled Banner, oh long may it wave over the land of the free and the home of the brave. I would like, Gerald, for you to tell me what is racist about that paragraph.
Okay, what you just read, there's nothing, and I have to go back to it. I just can't call it
I
up on
guess
my
you
phone
do.
while I'm talking
Yeah,
to you.
we
I
know where
guess
you
you
got it.
do.
We know where
Call
you
back
got it
next
from.
week.
You know where? Thank you, Gerald, for
Talk about
calling.
the killing
Because of
slaves.
time, we can't talk about it right now. But here, basically, he got his talking points from CARE's website. There it is, right there.
Yeah.
What
and
is
so
that?
we already know. And then with this so-called African American feel, I myself we have never ever referred ourselves to. Identified as an African American.
That's right.
Everything is black, and then and that's in small case. America is first.
Exactly right.
That's right.
And I would say
Nothing
something
comes before
and
America.
That one of the greatest men in radio, Charles McCullough, said, "There's only three things important:
That's right.
God, country, family, and vote out every Democrat you can find.
That's right.
Go
And
ahead,
here's a
Jim.
word. Here's the final sentence. And this be our motto: "In God is our trust."
Yes.
That's the Star Spangled
Yeah.
Banner, my friend.
And that survived the race, that belief in God, that
That's right.
trust in God.
That's right.
survived the black race after slavery.
There you go.
1,600 listeners. To continue the roundtable discussions by mailing correspondence to Art of Michigan, Post Office Box 135, Garden City, Michigan, 48135.
Or follow Phil, Del, and Janice at artofmichigan.com. You can also send emails to artofmichigan@hotmail.com. And most of all, continue to listen every Saturday and tell a friend.